Okay, third graders, so welcome to the second video of this week. We're talking about equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions are a little tricky, but I want to make it as simple as possible for you guys because this is a really hard concept. And you guys are going to be learning a lot more about this in fourth grade. So as long as you understand what equivalent fraction is and the main method on like how to find an equivalent fraction, then you've achieved your goal. So for this lesson, equivalent fractions are essentially what is a fraction that is equivalent in value to another fraction. So if I have 1/2 of a candy bar, I also have 1/4 plus 1/4. As you can see in this visual, those both equal the same amount. So 1/4 plus 1/4 is 2/4. So I know that if I have 1/2 of a candy bar, I also have 2/4 of a candy bar. So the way we find that though, if we aren't using our visual as we see on page 101 in your workbook, we're going to have to use what's called the magic number. So our magic number in order to find this equivalent fraction is the number 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. 1 times 2 equals 2. So when you find your magic number, you multiply that by the numerator and the denominator to find your equivalent fraction. So moving on, if we go to page 101, we can use our chart to find our equivalent fractions. So where it says 1/2 equals what over 4, well, we already did that. 1/2 equals 2 over 4 because our magic number is 2. 2 times 2 is 4 and 1 times 2 is 2. But if we were going down to say 1/2 equals what over 10, how would we find our equivalent fraction? Well, we would have to find our magic number. Our magic number is 5 because 2 times 5 equals 10. If 2 times 5 equals 10, we have to multiply our numerator by the same magic number, 5. 1 times 5 equals 5, giving us 5/10. So 1/2 is equivalent to 5/10. And that's how we would have found that equivalent fraction. However, there might be a problem like problem F on page 101, where it says 3/3 equals what over 10? Well, 3 times something, there's nothing times 3 that equals 10. But 3 times 3, we know, looking at it, is a whole. So 3 over 3 isn't a fraction, it's a whole. 3 over 3 equals 1. Well, what over 10 would equal 1 as well? Because we still have to find our equivalent fraction. Well, the only number that we can make a whole fraction out of is the same number. So 10 over 10 equals our whole. So 3 over 3 equals 10 over 10. The same thing would apply if we did 2 over 2 equals 15. What would that equal? Well, it would still equal the same number, 15 over 15, because 2 over 2 is a whole, and 15 over 15 is a whole number. So they try to trick you on that one, but those are our whole numbers. So we're still finding the equivalent number. So you just take the denominator and then put it up on the numerator. It's the same number. On page 102, we see some visuals that might help us do these problems, but I want to do them together with you because they're a little tricky to understand. So I'm going to do problem A with you guys. We have 3 circles. And we have 1/3 equals 2 over what? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, two, three, four, five, six. And we have 2 of them shaded, which you would already know because 2 is the numerator. And then we already know that it's divided into 6 equal parts, so it's 2 over 6. That's our denominator because there's 6 equal parts. And then that's going to also equal something over here, which we have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 equal parts of our circle, and that's our denominator. And we're going to have to find our equivalent fraction. Well, the way to do this is to start off with the first fraction that we see. We have 1/3. Well, the way we found out this was by looking at the picture, but another way to do that is to find our magic number. Our magic number for this is 2, because 3 times 2 equals 6, and 1 times 2 equals 2, making 1/3 and 2/6 equivalent fractions. But if we need to find out what's the equivalent fraction to this 9 denominator over here, we have to find out our magic number. Well, 3 times what equals 9? 3 times 3 equals 9. Therefore, 1 times 3 equals 3, making 1/3 equivalent to 3/9. So 1/3 equals 2/6, and 2/6 is equivalent to 3/9. So that is how you would do that problem. But you would always use that first number and use your magic number to find what is the equivalent fraction. Let's do one more problem. So it's gonna show you on page 103, it says you're gonna circle 8 pairs of equivalent fractions. It shows you 1/5 is equivalent to 2/10. Well, you would know that by using your magic number 2, because 5 times 2 is 10 and 1 times 2 is 2. So you're going to use that also in all these other problems. But I want to do one more problem with you on that page 102, where it says it says this one little, like says 1 equals, I'm not going to draw the pictures for you because I don't want to make this video too long. So 1 equals something over 3, and you guys can see the visuals in there, which is going to also equal something 6 over something. Well, 1, this is talking about this is just a whole piece. So 1 equals 3 over 3, which is going to equal 6 over 6. And another way we know that is by using our magic number of 2. Even though we know 3/3 and 6/6 is both a whole number, 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 2 is 6, giving us 3/3 equals 6/6. So again, I want to remind you guys, using your magic number to multiply, which shows you on the bottom of page 102, when you multiply both the numerator and the denominator, you find your equivalent fraction. So if I was looking at this candy bar, I have 2 halves, and then I also have 4/4 in here. So if I wanted to find out the equivalent of just 1/2, I would look down and I would see that I have 2/4. So that would give me 1/2, which would equal 2/4. You can do that with any other problem. If you need to do this, just write a visual for yourself, such as 1/3. So this is 1/3 of a candy bar. And say you need to find out how many 6 is that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's a little bigger. So how many 6 would 1/3 to 6 be? Well, you would take 1/3, you write your equal sign, and put your denominator of 6. 3 times 2 is 6, your magic number, and 1 times 2 is 2. So 2/6 is going to equal, this is way too big, but you guys get the picture. 1/3 is going to equal 2/6. So 1/3 and 2/6 of your candy bar are actually equivalent fractions. So I hope this video really helped you guys understand just a little bit more about equivalent fractions and how to use the multiplication method to find your answer. So if you guys have questions, please reach out. This is a really tricky topic, and your pages, it might be a little intimidating, but make sure you guys use your visuals and use the page 101, which has this visual right here to help you kind of get started. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll be talking with you guys soon.